Hey guys, Tim here at JK Boots, and today I want to answer the question, how long should a pair of boots last? Big question, a lot of different factors and a lot of different potential answers there, but let's kind of attack it from the perspective of boots in general and then maybe JK Boots. So I think how long should boots last really depends on the individual and the job that you're doing. So for example, if you're gonna buy a really high quality pair of boots like JK Boots and you're gonna pay this, $5 or so $100 price point, but we're going to be, maybe in an office indoor environment for most of the career with the product. And, rarely is it going to see maybe a construction site or a wildland fighter, job type environment. Then truthfully, I think you're looking at maybe a lifetime with that product because of the thickness of the leather, the quality of the material, the durability of the build, the construction itself. I mean, like here's a cut in half of our Super Duty. There's so much material in here that the original intent of it was to go get beat up in the worst possible environments, and if we're only going to use it for maybe an indoor type environment, you're talking a lifetime of wear out of a boot like that. And so that's why it kind of plays into what you're necessarily doing with it. Now, if you're going to purchase a higher quality boot like this, like a pair of JK Boots, and you're going to go run with it in an environment that it was kind of more built to take, maybe with a fuller capacity, like a logger or like a diesel mechanic or like a concrete pourer or pipe fitter or wildland firefighter, then we can kind of get into a little bit more of a specifics of how long you can expect a boot like that to last in a really, really tough environment. So what we're seeing is a lot of it has to also do with care and also the maybe repetition of wear in a particular environment. So if we jump into our Super Duty boot, like our trophy boot, like time and tested, right? Oftentimes we're seeing that. So you'll wear them for, let's say, a consistent year and a half, maybe 18 months. And let's say you're wearing them every single day in a harsh environment. Well, within that 18 months, most likely, if you're putting 8 to 12 hours of them every day in a rough environment, within that 18 months or so, you're going to need new soles. So that's one of the beauties of these constructions, that this boot is fully resolable and fully rebuildable. So you're wearing the boot, you've broken it in, it's doing good. Most likely, almost 100% guaranteed, everything about it is going to be in really good shape, except for the soles. The soles will just be bald because rubber only has such long of a lifespan. So within that first 12 to 18 months, you'll probably for sure get a resole. Let's say you get them resoled and you go back to work. And same thing, tough environment, doing your thing, working hard on them. Most likely within another 12 to 18 months, and maybe this time it might be a little bit shorter, just because you're already into the boot so much, you might be closer to like 16 months, you need another resole. And so what we see is that customers will do that. They'll wear them for about a year to year and a half, get a resole, another year to year and a half, get another resole, and then depending on the severity of the wear, meaning questions like where's the insole at, or how bad is the vamp, or do you have holes or tears or something falling off, at that point on that third round, maybe after another few months or a year, you're looking at either a rebuild, and sometimes if the boots are in good enough condition, another resole. And so to answer the question of how long should a pair of boots last, if you're getting a high quality pair of boot like this and you're using them for a really tough job, you can expect that every 12 to 18 months you'll get a resole, and then about every, let's say about every 3 to 4 years, maybe if you're really rough on them, 2.5 to 4 years, you'll be getting a rebuild. And a rebuild is when we change the entire lower and we're just keeping the upper. So really, the life of that upper, that part that wraps around your calf, the upper of the boot, that thing can go for 10 plus years because you're looking at multiple resoles and multiple rebuilds along the journey. That is something that you can really only get in a pair of JK Boots because they're the handmade, tough, quality, high-level material that we're using, and with the handmade construction design that we use. If we're going to refer to a little bit more of a cheaper product, maybe something that's a little bit more mass-produced, I think that if you take something that's in that, just that lower quality range, which is completely okay because you're paying a little bit of a lower price for it, if you take that level of boot and you try to go do the high-level, high-capacity work that this demands, you're looking at burning through them much faster. I've definitely seen and heard so many stories about, man, I burned through my boots in 3 months, or I burned through my boots in 6 months, and I have to buy 3 pairs a year, and they're never comfortable. That's why JK Boots really even exists, is to service that customer. And so if you're purchasing boots and you're burning through them really quickly, that's not normal. You should not be burning through a pair of boots in 3 months. That means that either your environment is too hard or your boots aren't meeting the cut. And most likely it's that your boots just aren't making the cut. That's when you can upgrade to a pair of JK Boots. So specifically for a pair of JKs, you're looking at the upper life being about 10 years with good care, good maintenance, all those things. And then you're looking at the sole life being about every 12 to 18 months or so, depending on, again, how much you wear them. Could be 2 years, could be a year, depending on the environment, how rough you are on them. And then you're looking at a rebuild about every 3 years or so. And so there's a maintenance schedule involved there. overall, it's about that 10-year goal that you can shoot for confidently with maintenance in between. Kind of like buying a truck, changing the tires, changing your oil. Maybe later you got to do something a little bit more invasive just because you're at that 200,000 mile mark or something like that. It's a similar analogy with good boots. And again, as you drop into a lower price point boot, you can expect it to wear out quicker depending on the level of hard work that you're at. Or if you're taking a little bit of an easier environment, you can expect a lower quality boot to last longer. So it's really about finding out where you're at to determine how long your boot should last. I think that across the board, if you're getting less than a year out of a pair of boots, I think that's abnormal wear. I think that either that means your environment is too rough, it's a lack of care from the user, or you have the wrong boots. I think that if you're getting less than a year, you need better boots or you need to improve your care. I'll share kind of an extreme story that I once saw. I once saw a guy, he had a pair of fire boots and he had honey soles in them, which is the softer rubber. And he burned through those soles. I think it was like 6 or 7 months. He sent them back to us flat. And I remember I called him, I was like, what were you doing that you burned through these things so quickly? And he told me that it was a fire season for him. And he told me that he spent 6 straight months in the Rocky Mountains on sharp, jagged rocks, meaning that he only had, it was a crazy busy season. He would have 14 or 21 day assignments with 2 days off and then go right back to work. And so for almost 6 straight months, he was on rough, jagged, sharp rocks. And he just totally burned through a pair of soles. That's an extreme. And that's something where, we would come in and we would say, okay, well, we'll get you a resole. We'll get you a tougher sole because you need that more tough sole. And then he got a longer life out of them on the next run. Now, if he didn't have a pair of JK boots, let's say he had a pair of maybe a lower price point, lower quality product, he wouldn't get 6 months out of the soles. He would get 2 months out of the entire boot. And so that's just a good analogy or perspective on how much further higher quality footwear can get you and what you can expect from higher quality footwear based on the tough environment that you might be in. So kind of to give you that 30,000 foot overview and maybe to wrap it up, I think anything under a year, and when I say under a year, I mean your boots are totally wrecked, in less than a year, I think something needs to change, either a higher quality product, better care, or a change of environment. I think with a pair of JK boots, you can confidently expect to get 10 years out of the upper. I think you can confidently expect to resole, at a minimum of 12 months. I don't think you should ever be resoling under 12 months. More people most likely resole like 16, 18, 24 months. And then you can confidently say that you'll be rebuilding every 2.5 to 4 years, somewhere in that range, again, depending on care. That's why we always incentivize and tell people to please go watch our oiling videos and how to take better care of your boots. That should be a good perspective and a good time frame of what you can expect from a good pair of boots. Over the long run, it pays off greatly. Imagine paying $275 3 times a year, 4 times a year, or you can pay $500 to $600 once, and you've got it for years and you're just doing the maintenance costs as you go. So it's very cost effective, it makes sense, and that's not even playing into the comfort and the support that you receive that's better for your body, which it's even hard to put a price on that. Do you want to deal with a little bit more expensive footwear now but save your body in the long run, or have cheaper footwear now but then cost your body in the long run? So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but that should be a good 30,000 foot view for how long boots should last. We really appreciate you watching. Please go check out our other YouTube videos for other information and kind of more details. You can always visit our website and comment below if you've got any other questions. We hope to answer them. Thanks, guys.